In this segment, we're going to talk about what types of exercises we choose to do, about setting the intention of why we're doing a particular exercise, and is there a better exercise to do. We're going to use two very commonly done exercises that you'll see all the time in the gym, and we'll discuss whether there is a better way to accomplish these particular exercise goals. The first exercise we're going to talk about is called the upright row. This is Derek Dortch, he's one of our trainers here, and he's going to demonstrate for you what the upright row is. And pay close attention to what is going on here at his shoulder and his wrist and his elbows. Go ahead, Derek. This is an exercise we've probably all seen people do in the gym or maybe done them ourselves. And when you ask trainers or when you Google it yourself as to what is the reason for doing this particular exercise, you'll typically see that it's done to shape the muscles here of your anterior shoulder or to shape your trapezius muscles. Because when you do this exercise, go ahead, Derek, you are actually working this muscle. You will make this muscle stronger and you will make this muscle a bit stronger. But because of the anatomical setup here in the shoulder, it's probably not the safest way to do that. This type of an exercise can often lead to what's called an impingement or a compression of the rotator cuff muscle. And we're going to take a look next at exactly what the rotator cuff muscle is and how this exercise might create some irritation or do some damage to this particular tendon. We're going to use this anatomical model here to illustrate why the upright row might not be the best exercise of choice to train your shoulders. Your clavicle and your scapula form a little tunnel with the top of your humerus, and in that space is one of your major rotator cuff tendons. This is called your supraspinatus, and this muscle becomes a tendon right underneath this bone, and it inserts to the top of your humerus. It's often the site of rotator cuff tendinitis, which can give you all kinds of shoulder pain and can often require surgery in its worst condition. When one does an upright row, what happens is that tendon can get pinched. When your arm is at a 90-degree angle and internally rotated, that's when this tendon gets pinched the most. Now, we often have to take our arm through that position throughout our life, but I'm not sure if it's the best position to train in. So to take a really heavy weight or a bar and repeatedly rotate and flex your shoulder in that position, by definition, this is the most closed packed position of that tendon. So with your arm in an upright row position, that's when that tendon will be most squeezed. So adding weight onto the end of it and training in that position could lead to rotator cuff tendinitis. Now, when we take this model and we apply it back to the demonstration of that exercise, we'll see what I mean. So the main physiological reason why you might not want to do upright rows is because of what we just illustrated with the skeletal model. The combination of shoulder flexion and internal rotation puts this tendon in the most pinched position at that subacromial space. So if you're looking to just train the anterior part of your shoulder, the best way to do it is simply just to flex the shoulder without adding the internal rotation. In this position, you're adequately training these muscles because that's what you're intending to do, but you're not pinching the rotator cuff by adding the internal rotation. And there really isn't a functional reason why you would want to train in this position. We don't really lift things this way. You wouldn't want to lift something this way. It's not good body mechanics. There really isn't a sport that requires you to be strong in this specific motion. And if your intention is to train the anterior part of your shoulder just because you just want it to be toned and look great, well, this is what the muscle does. So this would be the safer way to accomplish that intention. So if you're looking to train your anterior shoulders, just do simple shoulder raises this way with resistance and maybe try to avoid the upright row because it might cause injury to the rotator cuff.